From the moment I got on the train, I felt him staring at me. We were the only ones there. It was 2 a.m.
Just a random weirdo, I thought. Probably harmless.
It was a little comfort. I had heard enough horror stories about the subway to know that if he wanted to hurt me, there would be nothing to stop him.
I tried to focus on my phone, while knowing he was still focused on me. His glare was icy, dispassionate. Despite it being late July in a hot subway car, I was converted in goosebumps.
When's the next stop? I wondered. The ride felt like it was taking forever. Discomfort and fear began to swell inside my chest.
Maybe I should sneak a picture of him, just in case he tried something. The cops can go through my photos and find out who hurt me or who killed me.
The idea brought a fresh sense of panic.
Trying to look as casual as possible, I raised the phone with my right hand while adjusting my hair with my left. As if I were using a mirror, I just snapped a photo.
I realized far too late that I'd neglected to turn off the flash.
A bolt of light crushed illumination across the car. The man shifted in his seat, his eyes never leaving me.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, I repeated in my head. I was shaking, even from where he was sitting. He had to have been able to see how freaked out I was. I was certain that I was one of his goals.
At that point, I gave up trying to pretend. I didn't care about him watching. I walked right back, praying the train would stop as soon as I could get off. I didn't care if the next stop was in the bad neighborhood. I'd take my chances.
My eyes remained locked on his for the next couple minutes. When I felt the train slow, I breathed my first sigh of relief in what seemed like an eternity. I glanced out the window. Blackness, no signs, no platform.
We were in a tunnel.
And we stopped.
No, I whispered.
The man rose from his seat. He was so tall, so wide. He stepped heavily towards me, his glare never breaking.
I sharped back to my seat, shaking my head. He sat across from me. His long arms could reach out and grab me at any time.
Please, I whimpered. Don't.
He didn't say a word. He just stared. His eyes were wilder now. The whites were visible all around.
Crazy person's eyes, I thought. This is how my life ends?
Why are you doing this? I asked. A tear trickled out of my left eye.
Don't think about going anywhere, he replied. His voice was deep and breathy.
I gasped. I hadn't expected him to talk.
I'm not, I answered, shaking. Just don't hurt me.
Don't move.
I'm not. I swear I won't.
Stop talking. Stop shaking. Stop crying. Stop everything. Do not move.
I obeyed. The car was silent, aside from the faint echoes from the tunnel outside. I remained in place, grasping my knees to my chest and looking blankly at his enormous hands. Hands that could snap my neck. Hands that could beat me to a pulp. Hands that could rip my clothes off with one pull.
I don't know how long we sat like that. Maybe 30 seconds, maybe 10 minutes. All the while, he stared at me. Stared through me. What was he waiting for? What was he toying with me? Why was he toying with me?
The echoes outside grew louder. People working on the tracks? I thought. Will they help?
I realized he had started breathing heavily. His barrel chest was moving up and down. Sweat was pouring from his brow. Now he was the only one shaking, trembling, as if he were about to pounce.
This is it, I realized. Hear it.
The echoes from outside had changed. They didn't sound a miracle. They sounded like they were soft and distant. Now they were organic, loud, nearby, almost like screams.
Something flickered in the corner of my eye. I jumped.
Don't move, he demanded. I ignored him and whirled my head around to look out the window behind me.
A massive white face glared back at me.
I shrieked and fell out of my seat. The face pushed through the window. The glass didn't break. It scratched as if it were liquid.
The face was attached to a thick, veiny neck, covered in crimson. welts and plates of bone. I was beside myself with terror, lying on the floor of the filthy subway car, my arms outstretched in some primitive self-defense gesture.
The man was forgotten as the face towered over me, its mouth stretched ear to ear in a wide, skeletal grin, opening wider as I got closer to my supine body. It screamed out in a hellish sound unlike anything I'd heard before, and I hoped to die before ever hearing again.
Everything began to fade as I hyperventilated. I was dimly aware of huge hands reaching for and grasping the head and neck of the thing before I passed out.
I woke up a few minutes later. Everything was red and wet and streaming. I was coated in blood. Shards of bone and chunks of flesh and loops of entrails coated the interior of the subway car. Eat fresh.
There were two corpses, the thing and the man. The former had encircled the latter. Gaping holes that looked like bites covered the man from head to toe, while deep gashes that looked like rips and tears decorated the thing.
They'd killed one another, and I was alive.
I looked at the window that the thing had poured through. It was solid, unbroken. I listened. The echoes were silent. Everything was quiet, save for the steady dripping of blood and gore from the ceiling.
My chest started to heave with heavy, bitter sobs. I was not okay. Nothing was. I tried to wipe the blood from my face and eyes as I wondered what would happen next.
Over the intercom, the conductor announced, "Sorry for the delay. We'll be moving again momentarily."
The severed length of intents under the seat twitched and leaked its contents over onto my shattered cell phone. I gagged and lunged over towards the slippery handrail as the train began to move.